Yeah, TF was the ban here for RNG. I think, Weibo, no point banning the Nautilus. If you leave the Nautilus open and then you have a better answer to the Zeri. We'll see, though. Maybe they thought that wasn't necessarily the issue. For now, though, this third ban is where I potentially see things changing. And they do ban the Zeri instead in this situation. So now for RNG, they could prioritize the Jinx, right? You know, I think in terms of the 80 carry tiers, I think it kind of goes like Zeri is the premier, but then Jinx and then Aphelios. It does leave Weibo potentially go in that direction, but we have seen Weibo opt into the Xayah for Huangfeng, a little bit of a different thing with him playing the lethality. Could leave that till later, but either way, likely going to see the jungle in this rotation as well. Often see the jungle in that 1-2 for red side.
Weibo pretty much the team that is playing this Xayah, and you called it, Orcs. Immediately, that Xayah is locked in. This has been a pocket pick for Huangfeng, and they get the Rakan alongside it, which in my mind, alongside Thresh, is On's premium champion. I love to watch this guy play Rakan.
Yeah, and it's a strong duo, right? Not quite at sort of the old levels where we saw just dominate everything in the 1v1, but a lot of power in those team fights, a lot of safety for this Xayah, a lot of CC power for the Rakan and the Hecarim. Wei had a great game on it, right? I don't fault him picking up here, and actually may not even go for it, may go in a different direction, because one of the things is when you're diving into a Xayah, you're going to have a harder time, right? We saw Wei pretty much go and check in a lot of scenarios. Those feathers can be a massive pain point. Now, we could see RNG opt for something a little bit different. They could go for a mid laner. They could go for a top that feels open. Support would be like the safe thing, right? Matching the Rakan would make a lot of sense. But it looks like they're leaning towards mid. Ahri has the extra dive potential. Orianna very good with the Jinx and the Hecarim.
Leaning towards a team fight composition here with that Orianna locked in, and now over to Weibo to see how they want to finish things out. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see a jungler here, but I want to quickly just mention some statistics here. I want to throw some stats at you, Orcs, in regards to this Xayah and Rakan. I just want to also point out, this would be triple Vestaya, so a little bit of TFT-based synergy there. Although, I don't know if we've ever had a Vestaya synergy in TFT. I digress. It's going to be the Ahri locked in. 100% win rate so far in this split for both Huangfeng Xayah with 5 games and a 7.1 KDA. And also, On's Rakan, he has played it 7 times with 100% win rate so far. This bottom lane for Weibo, this is the combo. This is how they win.
And honestly, I actually love the Lulu ban, because we've seen earlier in the split, there was a matchup, Lulu and Rakan. The Rakan really can't engage that easily with the polymorph, and also with an Orianna and a Lulu buffing up out of the Hecarim and the Jinx, that would be an exceptional composition. So I like the fact, despite we typically see a lot more engaged supports in the LPL, they are respecting the enchanted potential here. Now, RNG makes complete sense to ban away the junglers, get rid of that Lee Sin, which you've seen SOFM be so proficient on. Could, in this situation, go in a variety of directions in terms of banning out junglers. Could even just go for a ban towards the Shy in the top lane. Like the Gnar, the Gragas could be things that we saw banned away in the previous one. But just going to go for the Xin Zhao here.
It will just be that Xin Zhao ban, so removing some more early presence. And I can understand why, but guess what? It's Viego that's actually been the second most played by SOFM across the year. 83% win rate over 6 games so far. Definitely a comfort champion for SOFM. Feels like a lot of comfort across the board here for Weibo, aside from obviously this Ahri, which very recently reworked. I don't think it's comfort for anyone necessarily. But now to RNG, they need to finish this composition out. They need a top laner and a support. Ming hovering the Tahm Kench. It's the natural selection alongside that Jinx. But now we need that blind pick top lane.
Yeah, and we obviously saw, despite the fact top lane did get kind of messed up by the rest of RNG, the Shy definitely in the 1v1 with that whole break of Graves into the cannon was a bit of a pain point. I feel like there's a lot of flexibility available for Bin here. Gnar, pretty stable blind in most situations. There are definitely picks that can punish it, but not sure they're any that we're going to see the Shy go into. Could just end up with him playing something pretty safe just to farm up. Even the Graves potentially could come out again. We will see that Gnar locked in, so again, incredibly strong team fight coming out from RNG, but I feel like Weibo have more tools already. I really like the Ahri Viego combo, all about those resets, that ability sort of to chain kills in skirmishes, in team fights. And now the Shy toying with the idea of the Akshan. A lot of options available.
Yeah, you're being baited, Orcs. You're being baited. It's exactly what they did in the first draft as well. Let's see before it's locked in. It is locked in. The action comes out here for the Shy in the top lane. Well, boy, do we have a spicy matchup. And boy, does Bin have his work cut out for him right now. I'd be nervous if I was Bin going into this game. But Wei, in game number 1, had so much focus on getting into those side lanes and stopping that kind of pressure. So the Shy needs to be cautious not to go too deep.
Yeah, I think that's something to be aware of, but this matchup feels like a bit of a pain point for the Gnar, right? One of the things with the Akshan is you can just swing into range of anyone. Gnar traditionally prefers to go into melee champions who can keep at bay and harass down. He won't get that window up against this Akshan. And can see the Akshan go Hullbreaker. Obviously, Gnar can go Hullbreaker himself, handles dealing with it a bit better than the Kennen. So maybe potentially less threat in the side lane. We'll have to see. I still really like RNG's composition when it comes to team fights. I do think the skirmishing power off Weibo is pretty stellar, right? In the smaller fights, you have the power of the Viego, the Ahri. Those resets in more spread out fights can have a lot of value. But when it comes to those 5v5s, Orianna, Jinx, Hecarim, so powerful, especially with the extra range. They can enable Jinx to just take over.
Certainly can. Towards Bonfong and On in that laning phase. See if they can shut down Gala before he ever gets rolling. But also, again, the mid jungles feels like an exciting one here. Ahri and Viego up against Hecarim and Orianna. I'm honestly not even sure which team has the advantage there. It feels like they both have different positives to go for them for that top lane. It's a kill lane. I feel like both junglers, I wouldn't be surprised if both mid laners are going to be showing their faces up towards the top side of the map.
I mean, there's definitely potential windows. I do feel like RNG, you know, you're going to expect to see the Shy trying to find priority, trying to contest. Could go for a gank in the extended lane, especially with Hecarim, easy to run down a target. But I feel like this mid jungle, I really love combos like this. Like we've seen a bit earlier in the season, or even earlier in Viego's sort of time as a champion. Like Viego Lissandra was a really cool combo because again, you both get the resets on a kill. Kind of similar here, right? Angel has really good target selection. If you get a pick on a one target, if you land Charm, you kill them. SFM gets a reset, you get an extra ult charge. Really can snowball very quickly in those fights, particularly the small numbered skirmishes or like spread out fights. So I think a lot of tools in favor of Weibo on that mid jungle, especially sort of when you start to get into those skirmishes. But for now, the Shy
is getting punished for this one though. Wei and Ming moving over. The Shy already solo on HP. And that's going to be first blood picked up by Wei. The Shy, he's done this before. That's the thing. He's done this like every game. He goes and tries to bully the jungler. RNG know Weibo's playbook and they punish it.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a common thing. And critically, they saw that he actually started the Q, didn't have the E available. So I think if he had that, maybe you could have seen him create a bit more space. Maybe we would have been able to at least flash out or burn something more from the side. But either way, a nice punish, a prepared punish from RNG. It will cost them some pressure on the bot side. They do actually miss 1 million of XP. So it means they won't get level 2 as quickly as Weibo's bot lane. And they have to respect that. But definitely positive play. And that gold went over to Wei, who on the Hecarim, we saw how much agency he had in the game 1.
Yeah, I mean, they won't get the level 2 spike as a great trade in the mid lane from Angel there as he hit level 2. SFM moving over as well just to help Angel shove this one in and perhaps go for some kind of invade here with the priority that's been found in this mid lane. Xiaohu, low HP, level 2. SOFM is a level down right now because of that first blood. You do have to be a little bit cautious. He's a camp behind. SOFM is going to go for the smite, though. He realizes that Wei doesn't have his smite available. And so SOFM is just going to give him a bit of pain in this early trading. And now we'll move towards the red buff as well. He knows he has prio in bot lane and in mid lane. And SOFM does not want to let a single moment of pressure go to waste. Now damage onto the jungler once again as Wei is chased out of his own side of the map.
And there's no recourse, right? Look at the lanes. Triple prio lanes right now for Weibo. And just completely changes the jungle dynamic. We talked a lot about how Hecarim... Oh,
denying the recall, denying the escape. Ignite is burning away, and that's going to be a kill for On. What a play coming out from Weibo, just punishing Wei after he got first blood. SOFM will not let him go, and I love this combo in the jungle. On moving over to help his jungler punish.
Beautiful execution. And this is what we want to see when there's a Hecarim, right? back in the days last year when it was like Hecarim, Udyr meta, the Udyr would invade heavily. You could see them get like a 4-level lead from doing so. Change of meta, change of champions, but still that Hecarim vulnerable to those early invades.
Bin wants an opportunity onto the Shy. He's playing the action, and he will get... No, flashes... Oh, it goes down to an auto anyway. Bin finds a solo kill. Once again, that's 2 games in a row. Now fights in the bottom lane, and it's pure chaos across the entire Rift right now. But no mana for Hwangfong on level 2. Walking away, just about survives. The root coming out from Hwangfong. SFM is off to the side. Hwangfong just has to look juicy. He's trying to play to bait this one, but RNG doesn't look like they're going to take the bait.
Yeah, minion blocked the zap from Gala there, just enough to keep on alive. Definitely close, and you can see, despite the fact that Weibo were applying so much pressure through this jungle matchup, the invades using the priority that they have, the laners from RNG, top and bot, still performing pretty well. The fact that Bin managed to find that solo kill onto his replacement, in terms of story, pretty sick, but also in terms of the fact that against the Shy, great bind here on the Mega Gnar.
And it's also kind of like it's a really big positive for Bin. It's also pretty negative for the Shy, right? Like, this is 2 games in a row where you're just underestimating your opponent. On's going in. He's still level 2, but he's making plays around the map regardless. A good attempt onto Xiaohu, but no flash burn for the time being. They will be able to shove this wave in, drag it onto the map if Weibo want to go for that one, as the charm goes ever so slightly wide. But SOFM, he doesn't want to let Wei get a singular camp this game if he can help it. He's going to challenge every single time. Xiaohu's behind the play, though, as this is just pure chaos. This is just pure damage coming out from RNG as they find 2 kills to start things off. And Gala's over the wall. The slow with the zap. Flashes forward for the Flame Chompers, but they go a little bit shallow on this one. Angel, no flash available, no ult available. Will surely go down to 1 more auto. The zap will finish the kill. And RNG are destroying Weibo.
Massive overstep from Weibo, right? The plays worked before because you had the priority in the lane, because you managed to get in, force RNG away, and managed to maintain control. But critically here, we saw Xiaohu able to move. Yes, it was slower, but we watched the play happen. So right now, 3-man strong, but look bot lane. Hwangfong's in base, Gala's moving over. Xiaohu has now had time to respond, and now they have not only a numbers advantage coming along quickly, but the 3 members are able to match in this skirmish. Remember, we talked a lot about the reset potential of the Viego and the Ahri. Ahri's not even 6. Viego's not even 6, right? Losing a lot of power by not having those tools available. And RNG able to chase down. The initial play at the start of the game was stellar from Weibo to punish the Hecarim. But it felt like they didn't really think about why it worked in this situation. And they overcommit without the backup. But now, might have found something here.
Pick on towards the Tom Kench. Remember, does have that Missile Voyage available to him, but a great knock up from On. There's the root coming through to deny the escape. Very nicely done by On and Hwangfong. SOFM starting to play off, and now Wei wants to answer in the top side. This Shy, if there was ever a time to be careful, to realize something's going on, now is it. Gets the rope swing out to safety. And it's all a little bit Indiana Jones up on the top side as he pulls his hat out from the door at the last possible second. SOFM, in the meantime, gets to go for the Drake.
Hard to punish the action in a lot of situations, especially there. If he'd overcommitted, definitely there could have been a window, but he knows, right? My team's making a play on the bot side. I need to play safe, need to play respectful. Not sure about this dive.
His team is still making a play on the bottom side. The flash from Hwangfong is gorgeous, but he misses the ulti. And now Bin is here to save the day. Bin shutting down his old friends. But another feather call. Hwangfong still alive for the time being. Ming licks him to death, though, and RNG get everything again. Double for Bin. And it already feels like it's running out of steam for Weibo.
Yeah, it is feeling rough, especially with how strong the team fighting is from RNG. You know, I said Bin had a pretty rough game 1, probably the worst performing member of this RNG lineup in that first game. Here he is on form. Oh, he didn't engage.
Another engage from On. He just won't stop this game. Angel low on mana. Shockwave comes out from Xiaohu, but it's not enough. Angel jumps forward with that Spirit Rush. One more little bit of damage, but the Corrupting Potion ticking away. Angel, can he actually do anything here? He doesn't have any mana.
Damage just wasn't quite there. Remember, this is the TP Ahri, not the Ignite. Now, we'll get a replay. And Bin, rough game 1, but this game 2 on point. TP's in. The dive attempt comes in because they know they have the ult to reset aggro, but they don't finish off Gala. Huge ult. Manages to get the double wall of follow-up and then the boulder. And then critically, SOFM doesn't have level 6 yet. and doesn't manage to get the kill. He's just trying to look for the resets, and Bin only just surviving. Super close, but now 3-0-2 on this Gnar. The Shy not going to be having a fun time in this matchup top lane, and Gala manages to survive. Remember, this Jinx, you have an Ori to provide that shielding. You have the safety from the Tahm Kench. Gala will end up being a monster this game if he's unchecked.
And I feel like that was a little bit on Huanfeng. It's not usual that Huanfeng gets this criticism. It's not usual that he's the one whiffing it, but misses his ult onto Gala, misses the Blade Caller as well onto Bin as they're trying to get the resets for SOFM underneath the tower. If he'd hit either of those, it could be a totally different play. So a bit unfortunate for Weibo here, and an uncharacteristic couple of mistakes coming out from Huanfeng in the fight. Remember, this Rakan Xayah combo has a 100% win rate for Weibo across the course of their game so far this split. Right now, they're on the cusp of getting themselves a loss on the board. It's a 2,000 gold lead for RNG, and after such an aggressive start in the jungle, SOFM is falling behind Wei, does not have that same pressure that he had before.
Absolutely not. But I will say he has hit that level 6 point. Him and Angel are a pretty nasty combo, and I think despite the big discrepancy, 2,000 gold this early is a lot. I still have hope for them, right? If they find an initial pick off in a fight, an initial kill, very easy to chain it into more. And you know, as much as I said, Shy might not be having as much of a good time, he still wins trades pretty heavily into the mini Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, he is still Akshan versus mini Gnar, right? He's still going to have a CS lead. He's still got a call stacking up, but he's 600 gold down, which is kind of insane. The fact he's only 600 gold down, he's against a 3-0-2 top laner, and he's 0-2-0. He's still almost even in gold. That 160 will certainly help close the gap as well. As, yeah, it's a tough life for Bin going up against these counter matchups. Angel in trouble in the mid lane. Spirit Rush available if he needs it.
What a charm.
Pull the trigger. Oh, actually, Shockwave comes on through as well. A bit of an overcommitment on the Shockwave, to be honest, from Xiaohu. And now Angel might be able to turn this one around. Has his ulti, but not going to go for it. Decides against being too aggressive.
It really felt like they were trying to do everything they could to force the Ahri ult there and just burn it to reduce the pressure Angel has, especially with that dragon coming up in a minute 20. But Angel just very, very patient, holds strong, great charm to disrupt Wei as well. And in the end, Angel doesn't have to burn the ultimate. Still, substantial gold lead, still seeing favor for RNG, but I'm interested in how these team fights will play out. Dragon up in a minute. I don't feel like, you know, either team is tied too heavily to pick this one up. It's only one in favor of Weibo right now. But we obviously saw last game how quickly RNG was able to stack up the dragons and how early the soul became a relevant factor.
Yeah. Kind of an unlucky rocket coming out there from Gala. Wanted to deny the reset to be able to fight for priority on the Drake, but now the reset has come through. Huanfeng finishing that Eclipse and having the tier on top of it as well. That's huge for a potential Drake fight if it does come to pass. It's still 2,000 gold lead, though, in favor of RNG right now. But Xiaohu's Shockwave is on cooldown. Gala's Mega Rocket, Super Mega Death Rocket, in fact, I missed a few adjectives there, is also going to be on cooldown for the time being. But RNG currently in control of the river. And
they have Herald in pocket, so they can just throw that down mid to really establish pressure. When it comes to these team fights, I'm looking at those big ultimate AoE tools. Things like the Mega Gnar, the Wei with his ultimate, the Shockwave as well. So much instant AoE damage. For Weibo, look to see how spread the fights are. And it's that initial burst. One target getting burst down, getting picked, is all Weibo can potentially need to get the momentum rolling. So very sort of different win conditions when it comes to those fights. For now, though, RNG have control of the area. You have the Herald in pocket still, and it is starting to get close to timing out, so we kind of needs to throw that down soon. I feel like I would have expected it to go down before the dragon.
Don't worry. In a second, he'll try and sweep the area. Then we'll get to see the Herald go down. It's going to be SOFM looking for a stun to start this one off. Flash away from Ming and on with a quickness. Gets a knock up onto one, but no real follow-up from the rest of the squad. Weibo using one ultimate there to find themselves a way into a river, and it will push RNG away from the Drake at very least, and that might be all that they get as Herald now dropped in that bottom lane. You were requesting that finally goes down, and it will be gifted over towards Gala. Weibo,
I don't think they can push this up.
Yeah, maybe not. The minion wave is kind of ruining everything. That's going to be a knock up onto Gala, but the rest of the team not really close enough to follow up onto what On was doing. The Herald just goes down for free.
Yeah, this was really poor because I feel like RNG could have just put it down mid. Mid is the more desirable tower if you're just going to get 2 plates, because obviously taking that mid tier 1 so valuable. So I feel like they should have just thrown it mid a bit earlier. It would have forced Weibo to react because at the time they only had Angel in the mid lane. And then that pressure could have got you control over the dragon area. On top of that in the fight, right? Why is Wei baiting his ultimate only for Ming to eat him out of it? Pick one, right? Use one tool and then you would have been in a better position to contest. Ultimately, RNG, despite their lead, kind of fumble that one. And Weibo potentially fishing for a play on the top side. That dragon is still up and available though.
I'm just looking at this top lane matchup here, and it feels so unfair for Minidar. It's like, the Shy has a better boomerang than you, he has a better 3-stack passive than you, he has better mobility than you. Like, what does Minidar have that Action doesn't have? He's
a newer champion, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's precisely what I'm saying. He came out more recently. That's the big difference in that top lane right now, but it is going to be Dragon taken by Weibo. Second one of the game. As he said, both teams backed away from that one. It meant Weibo could move back in and find that objective for themselves. So despite the goal deficit, Weibo doing a surprising good job of actually maintaining control of the game. But once again, we are in a similar situation as game number one, right? When it comes to the composition from Weibo, it feels like they're the ones that need to start to accelerate things. As a shockwave in the mid lane, Angel in trouble. Xiaohu wants to find himself a solo kill. The ultimate comes out, Spirit Rush. Knockup comes out from Huang. From Huang? On in the bottom side alongside Huanfeng. That's the route coming out from the Weibo AD carry. Ming low on HP. He runs that shield as SOFM gets a reset. Can look for the knockup. There's a route for him to be able to find it, but won't go any further on this one. Wei now charging in onto SOFM. Reset over the wall, but feared by the horsey. On comes in to try and save his jungler. Huanfeng 1 HP as well. The rocket dodged by Huanfeng, who's underneath the tower and zapped down. Finished off. All three fall. It's 11-3 as RNG start to utilize their advantage.
Couple of critical factors. Angel having to burn that ult mid means he was never going to be able to join that fight. Xiaohu shows up, maybe late, but able to guarantee that Weibo on the back foot. They have to run away, but it's so hard to escape a Hecarim. Wei super confident in the chase down, and they're able to secure a win on that one. Now the Shy still trying to apply pressure to this tower, but I think Bin can stop him from taking it. Oh.
Or can he? The Shy's just go for a solo kill under the tower, flashes forward, but Bin survives it. And with Ming's help, Bin is able to come out on top once again in the top lane. The Shy, he looks upset on that camera, trying to get himself comfortable, but I don't think you're ever going to be comfortable while 0-3-0.
Yeah, I think he was racing to try and get the first tower before we saw Gala pick up on the bot side. Fortunately, he wasn't able to do so. And bear in mind, right, Gala, we saw Huanfeng with the Eclipse and the Tier, and then he had Tier 1 boots. Yeah, he's got Tier 2 boots and a couple of longswords. But Gala's finished the Kraken Slayer and nearly closing in on that second item. This Jinx getting very strong very quickly. And especially when you have a composition like this with so much engage, so much team fighting power, the safety net of the Tahm Kench and the shielding of the Orianna, this is prime position for Gala to carry this game. We will see them lose that bot lane Tier 1 to Weibo, but they will trade for the Herald on the other side. I expect to see this Herald used mid. Obviously, the last Herald was say subpar from RNG, but breaking over that mid Tier 1 makes a massive difference on control of the map.
And it feels like Weibo have been running this same strategy that we've seen so often from them, of draft good lane matchups, try and find a lead early, try and invade the jungle and play aggressively, pressure the opponent, and then snowball from there. But the problem is, RNG know the Weibo playbook, and we've seen it in every single game of this series so far, well, all two of them. That RNG know exactly how Weibo are going to try and play it and have been able to counter a lot of the plays. Ming, the target in the bottom side, that charm is gorgeous, but his shield comes out at the last second. He survives, and SOFM can't get the reset. Once again, RNG just flipped to page 17 of the Weibo playbook. The bot lane Tier 2 dive. Here's how we counter that one.
And they managed to handle it easily again. You're targeting Ming. Has the Merc Treads, that tenacity, meaning he actually got an opportunity to get the Grey Health shield off. And he's obviously not the easiest target to take down, right? I feel like Wei is probably the worst target to try and get a pick on, but Ming isn't too far after. I guess one of Ming's teammates when he's next to them. But ultimately, it took so long for them to get him low. SFM can't get the reset. Angel had to dip out of there. The comp is relying on them getting that momentum. I feel like RNG, when they're grouped together as 5, there's so little opportunity to do so. And even there, it wasn't 5 members, but they had time to respond. Weibo, it feels like they're getting a bit desperate at this point. They are down 1-0 in this series. They are down 4,000 gold in this game. Yes, they're top of the standings. Yes, they're still in a good spot if they lose this. But going down to RNG, definitely not something they want to avoid. Not even just for the fact that it does mean that RNG can close that gap, but also gives them the head-to-head and the mental advantage when we look towards playoffs. Because I expect RNG to be one of those teams competing for #1. And I think Weibo are aware of that too.
And I think it's one of those situations as well where Weibo, you know, they'll have been feeling it incredibly confident coming into today. Losing to a team like RNG when I would argue Weibo were the favorite coming in here after recent performances.
I think it's very, very safe statement.
Yeah, it would be a tough one. It's going to be tough for the players in terms of mentality. But Weibo are not done just yet. TP out towards this bottom side from Weibo. This would be sole point for them if they're able to get the Drake. Certainly would like to, but it has been Wei winning out these smite bites so far in the series. Keep your eyes on that ball. It's a double shockwave out from Xiaohu and a rocket from Gala. The resets are here. The fight is over before it ever began. Slam down onto Huanfeng. It's all done. That's lights out.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this mid-jungle, SFM and Angel. They're using their tools to just get out of dodge. There was no way Weibo were going to win that fight. Dragon secured by RNG, and they just crushed them in that one. It didn't feel like Weibo even really had a chance. They found a charm onto the Gnar here, and you'll see how little damage actually goes in the bin in this situation, right? Charm connects, bit of damage, still 60% HP, and then the shockwave comes in. On gets deleted, and then the chase potential as well. You know, I said there'd be a lot of momentum on Weibo's side if they start to fight in favor in a fight, right, when you get the resets, but it goes in reverse as well. If you're unable to get those resets, the chase down potential for RNG on top of that, the Jinx getting excited so quickly went against Weibo there, and now Soul is going to be 10 minutes away, sort of minimum for the side of Weibo. Oh, pick comes in.
The flash charm, maybe a chance here, but Ming once again with the Devour saves Gala's life. And once again, a Weibo play is denied by RNG. Now the chase down, the Shy in the middle of everyone, in the back lines, but taken down. And Weibo just can't find anything. One kill onto their old top laner. Is that enough? The answer is no, as RNG continue to charge for more. Double fear back into the team. SFM 1 HP and cut down by Wei.
And that's enough to go for the Baron. Jungler down. Only 2 members left available, and Ari without her ultimate. Not really a factor at all. We see the pick attempt, but that's the power of the Tom Kench, right? I was talking about it before. Him and Hector are probably the worst targets. But honestly, someone next to the Tom Kench is the worst pick target. Just instantly eats them. No real counterplay. And then the re-engage comes in. The chase down potential. Wei once again this Hecarim able to follow through, and now Baron in hand for RNG. 6k gold lead before they take it. To be even more significant after, and we'll see. Yeah, I mean, they fish for this opportunity on Gala. It's a good attempt, but Ming just waddles over, and you're golden.
And it feels like every single attempt from Weibo has been thwarted by Ming and by Wei.
I feel like the Shy regrets his TP so much.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much he can do. He bought a pick onto the enemy, so maybe the shutdown onto Bin was worth it, emotionally speaking. But I don't know. That's all I've got. That's all I've got for Weibo at this point.
You know a game or a team fight is doomed when you're talking about the emotional value of killing a target.
Yeah,
that's when you know you're really struggling, when you have to just find that way.
We've got.
And you know, I feel like this game, the Shy 0-5-0, we've seen a lot of great things from the Shy so far this split, but it wouldn't be the Shy. Oh, engage coming in.
Hang on, pick onto Bin here. Shockwave completely whiffed the solo laners from RNG. They don't need ultimates. Xiaohu doesn't need no Shockwave to finish these off. The Shy trying to 2v1, but he's just going to go down in this one. Cannot make it happen, and Bin ends up with a double kill. In the meantime, Wei is killing the rest of the team. I mean, this is just brutal. Weibo, they're being embarrassed on the stage right now.
Yeah, and this Shy trying to get that kill. 0-6-0 now. I feel like it wouldn't be the Shy if we can get 2 sides of it. But RNG just crushing. This just doesn't even look close. And they came in absolutely with Weibo being the favorites. But they are delivering even more decisively. Bear in mind that game 1 was messy, right? There was lots of opportunities where RNG thrown. This hasn't happened in this game 2. It really feels like any mistakes we saw in that game 1, kind of the warm-up. This game 2, they are so clean at closing things out. The game isn't over yet, but a 10,000 goal lead, 22 kills to 4. It's definitely feeling rough. And, you know, again, they're looking for these picks. I think this is the right call to look for these pick opportunities in this situation when you're so far behind. But the damage just isn't there, right? They don't have the Viego there to follow through the sustained damage. The Gnar hits Mega and is just, you know, Mega Gnar. Not really much you can do against him.
And in the meantime, it's just
Yeah, Tank Hecarim, by the way. Tank Hecarim, 100-0, my mid laner. Yeah, really fun. Love
I mean, he's a level up. Look at the level difference, right? Way is 14, Angel is 13.
Plus, I mean, the items as well, like Deadman's plus Chem Tank is such a dirty combo because, like, your Audacious Charge, or whatever it's the charge, their first auto from it, man, the damage it does is like, especially when you see a full tank Hecarim just smashing you with that first auto, it's pretty painful.
Drop a dirty combo. Bit of Geordie for everyone there. You're welcome, Hawks. Loving it. It's going to be mid-tier 1 taken, or mid-tier 3 taken here. As it's 22-4. RNG almost with a kill per minute on just their side right now. And that's almost all of the kills in the game, right? Because Weibo are only with 4 so far. This has been brutal. RNG can go for the bottom lane as well if they want. On. Just takes a massive amount of damage for himself as Ming just once again eats Scarlet. And that will be the bottom against.
Honestly, man, I think as well, like when you look at Weibo wanting to get those single targets down for the resets, very difficult to do when there's a Tom. And Wei there beating the ult, you know, might look like it was a little bit excessive, but didn't want to get CC locked, obviously using that to sort of dodge away from the Rakan W. And I think RNG are very much just playing this one safely, not overstepping. On?
On?
That's not your team, buddy. That's not your team.
You know how there's the meme of on and off? Well, I feel like that was the epitome of the latter.
I love how the Shy just like slinks away. Kind of like, yeah, you're all right there, buddy.
Perhaps
nothing
not
to do
today.
with me.
Yeah.
The Shy is 060. He's happy with that. He does not want to become 070, you know, I think.
I'm kind of sad because I saw that Action locked in. This is the first time I'm personally casting Action. I immediately opened a tab on Chrome, Indiana Jones quotes. I have not had a singular positive opportunity to try and quote Indiana Jones for the Shy here. It's been a bit of a disaster across the board for Weibo. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't win them all. This is a huge positive though for RNG, right? At least we're seeing a really, really good look from RNG after losing their series to RA just last week as well. There were a lot of big question marks for RNG on how clean they were. And in game number 1, it was looking real dicey. Game number 2, they have properly tightened it up. And this is feeling near immaculate from RNG.
Well, I think you can always talk about the patch changes and saying, you know, you could make arguments like, oh, they look more comfortable in this meta. But I don't feel like things have changed that substantially. They are just looking better as a team now. Oh, this could be a pick.
Couple of charms from On, gets back out, but followed by an auto. Wampong uses that Blade Caller, but Bin just outplays him. That's going to be game here as RNG just go difference their way to a win on this one. The TP into the base. As once again, Wade just literally 1v1ing Angel. I'm not sure that's how the matchup is meant to go, but I don't think it matters how it's meant to go. All that matters is how it's going, and it's going real well for RNG. More than a kill a minute as they finish things off, and they dominate Weibo 2-0.
Absolutely crushed them. Bin beating his old team convincingly. Bear in mind, Weibo with first in the standings going into this 8-win streak. It had been so long since they got handed a series loss. At RNG, frankly, game 1 was obviously close, but game 2, they just stomped them.
Yeah, that was something else. That was really a powerful win here, a statement win for RNG, but also for Bin. I want to go back and highlight Bin here because we talked about him against the Shy, him against his replacement, him against his old team, and boy did he step up. And we've seen a different Bin to who we saw when he was on Suning back in 2020, right? We've seen a Bin that has been patient all game long, waiting for an opportunity against counter picks in both games, and finding those opportunities to shine in both of those games. So really, really impressive stuff. And it feels like Bin has really grown as a player over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think 100%. And I had so much criticism for him throughout this split, but I feel like when he is popping off, when he is at 100%, really can deliver. And that Gnar game was a great example. The Kennen game a bit rougher, but honestly, just that Gnar performance, the TP down bot to cover the dive, so many great ults in the team fight. And I feel like when RNG are at their best, they look like a really formidable opponent. I feel like that was kind of the thing with Xiaohu going mid, Crying leaving the roster, Bin coming in. There's more variance in this team than the roster we saw win MSI last spring, right? I feel like, but the potential felt higher, right? I feel like Xiaohu and mid, Bin in top lane, when they are at their best, do look really phenomenal. And the fact that they're able to beat Weibo, but also lose to RA, kind of is indicative of that. And if they can work on that consistency, this will be a big front runner for the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Weibo, I think as well, if we talk about their side of things in terms of the consistency, well, this is actually not a new thing, especially game number 2, right? We saw them going way too over-aggressive in the jungle, like trying to bite off more than they realistically could chew. Well, if you think back to their series against LNG, what happened in game number 2 against LNG? They overcommit absolutely everyone to try and take a Gromp that LNG easily reads the play and destroys everyone, and then snowballs the game. Is that not exactly what we just saw for the chickens and the reason that Weibo lost game number 2?
Why do we expect anything different, right? It should be a tribute to them, the game 2 strategy. I feel like obviously you would go a bit better if Weibo won that game 1, which in fairness, there were moments it felt close, but I feel like the big thing for me is RNG's composition was not hard to play. It felt both games, it was like, look, we have so many engaged tools, we team fight, and that's literally it. I feel like execution was more, the onus was on Weibo. Like, if we look at the top lane matchups both game, it was more about sort of establishing control in the top lane 1v1, getting plates, not getting punished. When you look at things like the, game 2, the Ari and the Viego, finding those spread out team fights, the picks and the skirmishes, the resets. Whereas literally it felt like, Wei had a whale of a time. He's like, on Hecarim, I just run at the enemy team. That's it. And I feel like, as much as these teams are obviously phenomenal teams.
I do need to correct you slightly there. It wasn't I run at the enemy team. It was I run at Angel specifically.
True.
And I plow him into the floor every single fight.
And it worked. I feel like one of the things is that despite these teams being obviously phenomenal world-class teams, it still feels like, if one team has a much harder to execute composition that has maybe less cohesion than the team who has something that's very straightforward, particularly in this meta that is so team fight focused, right? The emphasis on Dragon Souls and these late game AD carries, it's just going to be easier to pull off.
Certainly is. It felt like this snowball comp coming out from Weibo, not really cutting it, and especially when going for such risky plays in the early game, it feels like it has paid off for them multiple times in the past. But honestly, to me, this entire draft difference feels like it was all Tahm Kench, right? Every single play that they tried to make, Ming was there. Even the play in the top side, right? The Shy tries to dive onto Bin, Ming is there, surprisingly. It's like everywhere on the map, Ming is there. Every single play Weibo tries to do, Ming is there, ruining everything, devouring their target, and escaping with his grey health. So it has to be said, Ming, I don't know who the MVP of this game is officially, but at least for me, in my heart, Ming was the MVP of this one with the Tahm Kench pick. It completely ruined absolutely everything Weibo tried to do.
And I think it's been rising in priority a lot, especially paired with the Jinx as a safety net. But it's just, you obviously a bit of a brick wall in the lane. You have the W, which you can set up. You can't really engage that well with it, but it's good at following up. But just the ultimate, like, you think about how powerful the Devour was, before the rework. The advantage you had then was short cooldown, right? Which is definitely valuable. But when Weibo has to commit the Ariel to force your ult, that's a worth trade every single time. And you get that massive shield for the turnaround. So it's very hard for Weibo to deal with there.
But the man in the backline that was getting the resets and taking over in terms of the damage was Gala. And Christina is standing by to give him a cheeky little winner's interview.
Hello everyone, welcome to the post-game interview in Shanghai studio. This is Christina. Now we're joined by Gala, the ball laner from RNG. Congratulations on your win. You just stopped the WBG's 8 winning streak. And did you guys make some special preparation into WBG because they were at the first place of the standings。让我们欢迎Gala选手来到赛后采访。首先想要请问一下，在今天应对8连胜，在积分榜第1名的 WBG 战队之前，有没有做哪些特殊的准备呢？
我们没有做什么特别的准备吧，然后就是平常心去打，然后打好我们自己的话就可以。
Actually, we didn't make special preparation into WBG. We just play normally with a normal mentality. We just need to do our things better. And next question, I want to touch on the game in today's performance. Why are you guys so dominant in today's best of 3? And especially in game 1, you can got the cold drakes, and in game 2, you can end the game at before the 30 minutes. 想要问一下，今天的为什么这2局比赛都打得这么样的丝滑呢？而且都是在第1局的时候，你们控到了所有的峡谷资源，第2局的时候也是非常顺利的滚起了雪球。你觉得今天能赢下比赛的重点是什么呢？
我觉得今天就是主要我们在那个中期就是没有犯很大的就是失误嘛，被就是死什么的，然后前期对面失误了，然后我们也很好的抓住嘛，然后就很顺利的赢下来。
I think the reason why we can to maintain a great performance today is because that we didn't make any mistakes in the mid game, and we can punish our enemy opponents their mistake in their early game to punish their mistake and to try our best to make a better performance today. So my final question is about the game patch. We have been played patch point 2 for quite a long time, but now the patch point 4 is coming. So give me your thought on the patch 12.4 and maybe give me your thought on the new champion Ronaldo Argalas and on this new champion onto the Rift. And I'm curious about which kind of combination around the bonding will have a high priority currently. 最后一个问题想要问一下有关于最近游戏版本的问题。我们此前呢可能是在12.2已经玩了很多场了。那么对于12.4版本，你觉得在下路是有哪些英雄组合会有一个很好的优先级，并且给我们分享一下你对于新英雄的看法吧？
我觉得下路的优先级的话，就是跟12.2差别不大嘛，就还是搭配之前的那几个 ADC，像金克斯，然后泽利还有厄斐琉斯嘛，然后可能就女警没有那么的强势了，然后但是还是就是其他3个英雄是主流嘛，然后新英雄的话，就平常排位碰到的比较少，然后我觉得他还是就是对线方面可能就比较弱，然后但是打团就是功能性很强的英雄。
I don't think there is much difference between patch 12.2 and patch 12.4 around the bowling and the Jinx, FEOs, and maybe they are the main champions on this meta. Maybe a little Caitlyn will nerf a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit weaker than before. Too, as far as a new champion, I think he's so strong in the team fight, and maybe he's a little bit weaker in the laning phase. Thank you so much for joining me. 让我们再次感谢 Gala 选手来到赛后采访，也再次恭喜 RNG 获得今天比赛的胜利。Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Christina. Great to hear Gala's take on the new champion as well. I'm kind of disappointed that we only got to see it once today, but hey, we got to see it once today. Unfortunately, we didn't see much of it. As we said, it kind of flopped, and that was one of the big concerns, right, about Renata coming in was weak in the laning phase, not usually that good in LPL, but enough. Let's talk about our MVP. It was Min coming out of that one on the Tom Kench. I think we all